It's 6:30 p.m. November 5th, 2025. I'd like to call the meeting to order for public hearing number 3, introducing the preliminary budget for the town of Kingston. Before we get started, we'll go through it page by page. If anyone has questions, you're more than welcome to ask our budget officer, Ryan Polacco. And we'll get started. I'll give everyone a minute. We're on page 1 here of the preliminary budget. So if you have questions, just let us know, raise your hand, and I'll just kind of look and give me a hand signal when you think you're ready to go to the next page. Do you have a question? Yes, sir, John Ball.
The communication director's salary and those like subsections, seems like it's all being pretty substantially cut. What's the rationale behind that?
We haven't been using those funds.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a couple of years with minimal amount being spent. So talking with the bookkeeper, we were able to do that comfortably. And then as far as the communication director, that was just, that salary was removed.
Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, that one. I have a number of ones on that page.
Okay, go ahead. What's your next one?
So I just have a quick one for the code enforcement officer's salary. And this relates later on in the budget with revenue. If you look at basically any other adjacent municipality, and you take the enforcement office or the building department's expenses and put that up against their revenue, it's pretty much a break-even office. If you do that with this budget, you're looking at basically a $20,000 deficit. Is there any consideration for raising building fees to offset the cost of the office?
Honestly, that is actually one of my things on my personal agenda here to raise some of those fees. So I'm going to say for myself as deputy supervisor for next year, I do think that's something that does need to happen. And I do agree with that. It is something we have not discussed in a while for that on this board in the past couple of years. So it's something that definitely needs to be addressed. I don't think that will get to the 27,000 like you're showing here. I don't think we'll ever reach that number in this town. We don't have enough fees and permits. But the building inspector does more than just issue permits, so it's a kind of a double thing. So we do need a building inspector here I believe we need a building inspector. So there are other options, but I believe that is an important job to have. So it's a double-edged sword. So yes, we need to increase fees. I agree with that 100%. Will it equal to his salary? Probably not this year, but maybe sometime in future years. And I'll make sure that's on next month's budget to start that conversation. Next month.
There's a secretary that uses it?
The secretary?
There's a secretary that uses it?
Sometimes. Hunter, if you want budgets, they're on the back table there if you'd like to grab one. Sporadically, he does share space with Roz. Roslyn does use the deputy town clerk. Sometimes does help that office if needed. I don't believe there's been a lot of hours this year though.
There's been zero amount called to that line item this year.
But we do keep that budget item in case.
That's still kept in the budget?
Pretty much what happens with that, I don't know if you're aware of it, but what'll happen is we have extra cash at the end. That money's used. If you go to page 6 at the bottom,
we're talking about taxing people here. I mean, you have to tax people to get that money.
You're 100% right. And what we do at the end is when we have when we have that excess money, that money's used to carry forward to keep the taxes down. We're getting it up front. I know what you're saying. We're getting it up front, and then on the back end, it's coming back. It's not like the town is saving that money. You know, they can't really say that. So that money's utilized. Like if you go, not to go all the way to the back, but we got 100, like general fund, we're anticipating $100,000 being left over from this past year's budget, which is a good thing. There's not a lot of problems, but you gotta have something in there, you know. But that's typically, like last year alone, we carried 150, I'm sure you remember 150 grand over between the highway department and the general fund to help reduce taxes, or lower taxes.
Okay. So the ambulance, the rescue squad, that's the ambulance line.
Mhm.
It's showing a 30% increase.
Is that, yeah. So we just got that contract literally today,
Okay.
alright, so it's showing a 30% increase. We're gonna try to do something about it, but there's no guarantee, that's what we were given.
So I have the town of Ulster budget right here.
Okay.
It says in their budget, reimbursement, ToK, escalation 2%, and it's showing basically $102,000.
And that's what we're hoping it's gonna be, but when we got the contract today, that said $130,000, we had to put that in. As a matter of fact, I had to redo all the budget again to accommodate that number. We know that we are 99% sure that that's a mistake, it should be a 225 increase with a 3-year contract that was just, or will be signed. So that number will probably go back down to 102. But I had to carry that in here, I had to carry the 130, because that's what the contract says.
So that's from Empress or the town of Ulster?
Town of Ulster. Or is it Town of Ulster or Empress?
Yeah, Town of Ulster.
Town of Ulster. We think there's a mistake in there, and we think it is gonna go down to 102, but if I put 102 in there and it wasn't a mistake and we gotta go to 130, some people are not gonna be happy. So I'm putting it out there, so I put it out today.
Yeah, that notification literally came in at like 2:30 this afternoon.
Yeah,
So we didn't have time to verify that it was a misprint, so we wanted to make sure we were covered here.
And, I mean, everyone's aware on this board that the town of Ulster has received, grant money from the, Ulster
yes,
County.
we'll be receiving around $10,000.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, the town of Ulster is receiving $160,000 approximate dollars, in county grant fund
Mhm.
to help offset their costs. That's directly coming out of the same, ambulance contract that the town of Kingston is a part of.
That's correct, yeah.
And do you feel like the town is receiving any benefit from that?
We're only getting 10% or 10 grand. It's a percentage thing. I've already talked to legislator Kovacs about it. And he got what he could for us, and it was a percent thing.
So where's the 10% in the budget?
The 10% is not a line item, so what's gonna happen is gonna be excess funds. We don't have the check right now. I can't put it in there as revenue.
Okay.
So that's, when that comes in, that'll actually be that'll be added to the amount that we're gonna use to reduce taxes.
Okay.
John Paul, do you have any other questions on this page?
I guess just later on in the budget, it comes up again, but the reevaluation townwide is blank.
Mhm.
So, whether it's addressed now or later in this budget discussion, what's happening with a townwide reevaluation?
You wanna do that when we get to that page then? Are we good on page 1?
I have a
I have
question.
one question.
Yep,
Oh,
go ahead.
Larry.
Somebody.
Oh, no, you go ahead first.
Just a quick one, it looks like the court clerk, additional hours are
Mhm.
going up, is there a reason for that? Was
Yeah,
it
town
over-
of Ulster, or state police has been busy in our town, and it's
Okay.
requiring a lot more hours on her. That's additional, that's not her salary, nothing like that, that's, and I will tell you this much, it hasn't been touched this year, that 2,600, but she did ask for more for next year because she's anticipating a busy year. Again, that'll be above and beyond what her duties are currently as a court clerk.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience for page 1? Larry?
Okay, just have a question on the newsletter. It looks like we're doing away with the newsletter. There's no funds here to cover the newsletter.
No, Larry, there's still $627 in there for the newsletter, and because a majority of it's all on internet, the costs aren't as much. I talked to Linda about that, and she comfortably said you can do that, you can knock that down to 50.
It's minimal, we have minimal people
Yeah.
sending it out to, so it's way less stamps, way less,
Okay.
You still got it though, big guy. You still got it.
I misunderstand.
Alright, is everyone comfortable moving to page 2? Page 2. Give everyone a minute to look at it, if you have questions, just let me know. Go ahead, John Paul.
So I'm looking at home and community.
I didn't hear that, can you repeat that, sir?
Sorry, I'm looking at, the home and community section.
Okay,
So last year, the town board, left the planning board, without a secretary after the secretary, I guess resigned. There's something here in the budget for that position. Is there any, information that we should know about with a secretary for the planning board?
At this time, there is not. I think after the first year, some of that may change.
After the what?
First of the year.
Oh. Okay,
Do you have more questions on that page?
yeah.
Go ahead.
So town cleanup, like 40% increase, is that,
So, I can, that's done by weight. So, what is the weight of the garbage is done, so we budget a little extra for that, because the garbage rates did go up, which you can see the garbage rate. So what happened is the weight of the garbage for spring cleanup does have, repercussions of how much garbage is going on past years. So we just went and picked that number for right now. We have talked to Waste Management and see if we can get it down a little bit more, but that's what it is as of right now. It's just to protect ourselves for the weight, and if we don't use all those funds, that will roll over into next year.
And again, if you look closely at that, we're actually, yes, it shows 30% off above what it was last year, but what was actually spent this year was 8,100 on it. So it's not actually that much of an increase.
I don't know, there's no actual.
No, I have that information.
Right,
That was one thing I had questions, so I asked about it. We actually spent 81,9039 on the town cleanup this year. So again, we're talking about $200 and some increase over what was currently spent. But I agree with you. Looking at the two numbers, that's like why to go up 30%?
yeah, I mean, it's a question of, if it's actual tonnage, then that's one thing,
Tonnage.
to keep the town clean, but if
Yep.
it's a fee.
No, all tonnage.
tonnage.
All tonnage.
Yep.
On that one, it is all
And
tonnage.
what is the fee that the, Waste Management puts on to this offering?
I would have to look that up on the contract for you, but I
I'm
can.
not sure.
I think it's less than $2,000.
Okay.
For some reason, and John Paul, that is not a factual comment, I think it's somewhere between $1,800 and $2,400, but for some reason, that's what's popping in my head. I can get that information to you by next meeting, by the workshop. Okay?
I mean, you can do the equation if it's worth it or
Yeah,
not. Yeah, and the last one was just, employee vacation buyouts, what is that?
They can carry so much vacation, and then anything above and beyond what they carry, they can sell it back to the town. So it's a buyout.
And that's a mandatory program?
Right now it is. Right now it is. I don't personally agree with it, but I didn't pass that law.
Yeah, I mean, just looking towards the end of this budget, I mean, we're looking at a 13% increase, right? Is that right?
Mhm. Right now I'm at 11.85, but yeah.
That's all I have to say.
okay. Anyone else have questions on this page? Hearing none, we're moving on to the next page. John Paul?
Updating the town books, this is the code books,
Yes, sir.
and it's, negative 100%, so what does that mean, that we're not updating the code books?
We haven't been, they need to be updated anyway, there's a balance of $1,800 in there right now, and hasn't been used, so I was told to just get rid of it, and they'll pull it from contingency or something like that, just to reduce that line item. To put $100 away a year is just not, you're not really gaining much, so.
Okay, so is there a plan this year for the town to update its code books? Cause I know at least the Airbnb law isn't a part of the digital code book.
I mean, I'm just a budget officer, I don't really know.
Yeah, kinda.
So the Airbnb
Well, we're talking
law
budget,
should be updated through the building inspector's code books, correct, gentlemen? So that should be updated through his books, which is a separate line item. The town books is more for like the supervisor's book, and there's a separate book for that. So, it's two different items, so when you get down to the building, department, there's another section of books for that. So, and we put that in his contingency, so that's in his contingency funds for his updating of books, which is, I wanna say, last year was like 680, that should be there, in that to be updated books.
I'm not following his books.
Well, what it is, so there's two separate books, you asked about the building inspector's book about the Airbnb law. There is code books in his office that are more for the building department than the supervisor's book. You know, and like then there's books for the town clerk's office, so there's different books in different departments of the building. This is more for the supervisor's books and the town books than the building department.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Airbnb law would fall into our zoning code. And I mean, Bob's books would be New York State Building Code, which is town has no jurisdiction over. So I don't know what books you're referring to for Bob.
Bob updates his books every year. I think it's like $680 for the building department's books.
In terms of just buying them?
You have to update certain books. There's like I think last year there's a code enforcement book that you have to buy that changes every year. There's a building code book, and you should know that.
I do.
Yeah, like that code book you have to buy every year, don't you?
Well, so the current building code is from 2020, and there's an update coming for 2025 building codes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no requirement to buy it because it's available online free.
Correct, and I think we like to have those here as well, so I think Bob does buy those every time.
It's in his expenditure estimate for
Yeah,
budget.
but I think this line item for updating town books has to do with our code and getting our online code, is that correct? Updated to reflect the law.
Yes, it's for the it's for our town, or by putting $100 in a year,
Yeah.
talking to the bookkeeper, she's like, it's a waste of a line item, when we need to do it, we need to pull it out of the supervisor's investment or something like that, because it was just one of those things.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, no, there's definitely, I mean, you gotta update your books, right? So you gotta have the money in there to do that, and it's a lot more than $100 a year is not covering it, so it really does need to be adjusted.
And I mean, I'll say with not a ton of building hours here in this town, having those, access to those online codes 24/7 is a resource for residents.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, I agree with you there.
That's it.
Yeah, on that page? Rebecca?
I'm curious about under machinery where it says radios for trucks.
So,
Oh, we're on the next page?
Yeah, it's the bottom of page 3.
I'm just curious what that is.
So all our town trucks have radios, and we pay New York Comco for those radio fees.
Okay.
So we rent a lot of those radios, and we also pay like a fee for that. Am I correct, gentlemen? There's certain fees, so all those are for the radios for the trucks. That's how they communicate whenever there's things going on in the town. They're rented on a monthly basis. There we go.
Do you have to rent those, or would that be something that if you did a big expense one time and bought it, would that be more beneficial?
So one of the things we get to use their towers when we rent them, where if you just use regular radios, especially in this town, we wouldn't be able to communicate well enough on certain job sites, so that's why it is.
Oh, no, that makes sense, that's what I was asking.
And they repair them for free, right, Al? They come in, they
And they update them all the
repair
time.
them for free, they update them.
Okay. That's definitely important stuff.
Any other questions? Yes, Hunter?
I had one about the bonds, which is, it says like $5,000 a year, or 4 to 5 on interest with it. Is this something that we can, I don't know how much you said rolled over last year from it, but is there a reason we're paying the bank rather than just buying it out? Is that an option?
That's our loan for the building,
Sure.
so, I mean, there's always options, it's paid off in 2028 right now, so you're gonna start to see the interest, you're gonna start to see the principal go up and the interest number go down on it, it's whatever their fixed loan is. So,
Oh, I see, these are both annual payments on the.
yeah, so like last year, they paid $30,000 on the principal and $556 on the interest.
Right.
Where this year, it's gonna start to fade a little bit, you know.
Got it.
2028 is the payoff for the town building.
Everyone good, moving to the next page? Yes, sir.
On the reassessment,
Oh, yeah.
since the amount you're tentatively budgeting for the reassessment is dropping, does that mean you think you're getting to the level where we'd have funds to then do it?
Yes. Yep, and that, so, in the board meeting, just to move forward, we're going to appoint a new assessor today, that's on my agenda today. And then he has some ideas, and when he gets on board, it will definitely start moving very fast and very forward with that. Anyone else on that page before they move next?
I mean, I'll wait till the end, but I'd like to go back to that reassessment discussion.
Okay. Alright. John Paul, any questions on this page?
Just again, the vacation buyout, I guess this is for the highway department now?
Or it could be a bookkeeper.
Or is that where is that?
Oh, we're under the highway, yeah, right, yep,
Uh,
this would be highway, yep.
So are all highway employees have this option of vacation buyout?
Two do,
You do?
two do.
Okay.
I think you explained this last year, but what's the difference between the personal services and the contractual?
The personal services, anything with a .1, just to clarify, see how I got the 5 numbers? Anything with a .1 is our labor, right? So that's any labor to do anything. The contractual is basically, like under snow removal, contractual will be salt, sand, whatever, things like that. And under any of the line items that you see throughout here, you'll see a contractual. That's pretty much what it is. Contractual for the code enforcement officer might be, code books or whatever the case may be, that kind of stuff. Trainings, required trainings, the judge has random trainings he goes to, so, same thing.
Any other questions on that page? Moving to the final page.
Page 5.
Huh?
It's page 5, but page 6 doesn't have much on it. Sorry, make sure you use the other one.
Sorry, that was my fault, guys. I'm sorry. Alright. John Paul. Sorry, I'll give you 1 second, Hunter. Okay, go ahead, Hunter.
I was just wondering about earlier when you talked about the 10 grand expected to be coming from the from Town of Ulster or the thing. Is there for expected revenue? Isn't that kind of what there's a budget and a actual for each of the outgoing items. It seems like you could also do that for the incoming items, right? Like we expect to get this.
You could do that. You could do that, but the thing is it's not guaranteed. We don't have the check in hand right now, and it's actually coming from the county.
Yeah.
They did tell us we're going to get around $10,000, but it was kind of like a couple months ago, whenever it passed. So that's not something I would use that as to carry forward. To help reduce. It goes in our kitty, and at the end of the year, when she balances the books, which will be happening soon, then she'll tell us how much she can give us. That'll be part of that.
Yeah. I know personally, if I was in that situation, I would want to not forget about it. So if we come back later and say, oh, $10,000, where did that go?
The beauty of that is you can check the books at any time. We're not going to forget about that kind of money. That check will come in. What'll happen is that check will come in, and Deb will let Supervisor Landy know, and then we'll all know. And then I know it's coming in, so I need that cash forward. I need balance forward, right? So it's good when we're not spending money, so we can have that money back us out. I'd like to point out too that, we got that pilot program, right? Line 1, we get $8,500 for the solar plant up here. That's good until 2032. So that'll I don't want to say it'll be here before we know it, but I don't know if Ed will see it. I don't know. it's like, you know, down below, to your point, Hunter, it is? Hunter?
Yeah.
Like the state aid with the chips, you know, sometimes that's not guaranteed, you know, but I'm showing it under revenue.
You had your hand up, I apologize, I don't remember your name.
Emily,
Emily, sorry, yes, Emily.
for tax collection, that almost doubles between last year and this year, what's that refer to?
You know, Linda, you told me,
So that was the actual amount of excess taxes. So what happens is when taxes get paid to me, whatever's left after I pay the county gets kept by the county. And if late fees, different things like that can add more to it. So that $7,320 is excess left over that was written into the supervisor's fund at the end of the tax season.
Okay.
That can vary. So next year it could be back to 4,000 or just over, it can vary every year.
Okay, so that's like literally, this is what happened this year was.
Yeah, pretty much. If people pay their taxes late, we can get the extra amount
we might wanna,
plus the fine, it can just adjust yearly.
you might wanna look at that then. We carry 7, then.
John Paul.
So, there's a few items in the general revenues, parking fees is 0.
Yeah, we had to put them in because I guess now we're assessing on some, we have fees out there for parkland fees and that kind of stuff. If I'm not mistaken, so we had to add those 3 line items in, but we don't have a value of what to project for next year because we don't know.
I mean, we have had that for at least one budget cycle.
Parkland fees were in there last year?
I'm
They were
saying-
not in the budget last year.
I'm not saying that, what I'm saying is that this town has collected parkland fees last budget cycle.
I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to answer that the best I can, because I asked this question the other day, and I'll have to confirm this with Deb. So parkland fees are revenue, but they stay in a separate account
Correct.
just to go into parkland fees. So if you put them in the budget, it's not something we could spend on anything other than parkland. So it does mess up the bottom line from what I understood about it.
Okay.
So it is, the money's there, it's in a separate account, it's in the same account. When I list off the numbers, there's a parkland account for that, those savings only. And that's why it's not in the budget to my understanding. I have never worked on this part of the budget, so I don't know if I can answer this properly, but that was when I asked a question about parkland fees the other day, that was the answer I got. It's in a separate account and it doesn't affect the budget and it's just for the savings account going forward. It's not a budget account item, it's a savings account item. And I don't know if that's 100% correct, that's just by what I was told, and I just have not had that answer finished completely.
Okay.
I'll have it by the final budget though.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested if there's just a way to have that in there, just even if it was something,
In parentheses, not part of the budget type thing,
right?
makes sense.
Well, wait a minute. So you're saying we shouldn't have it in there, you're thinking?
No, should.
It should be in there with money shown.
Yeah, I mean, there's currently a balance.
There is this year, 2025, but we don't know what to put in next year. I'll put whatever in there, you know what I mean?
I can tell you right now, at the planning board, we have a subdivision, a 4-lot subdivision, where it's 3, maybe gonna be 4, and, I mean, at the current rate of $750 per, it could, I mean, I think we'd be safe to say $750.
750?
I mean, that's one, that would be one subdivision.
Because I'll put it, anything will help us, you know that, like now's the time, like I'll put it in there, you know, as revenue.
But it is true, like, this is allocated just for, the purchase of parkland or improvements to parks. But at the same time, just that knowledge of what the balance is and what anticipated revenue from it would be, you know, leads to, you know, hopefully good planning, or at least
Yeah.
resident, information.
Right, it should be in there, but it has to be somewhere that doesn't affect the bottom line of the budget, because you can't use that to affect taxes at all, and I think that's why it wasn't in there, but I will confirm, and we will have that answered by the final
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah,
I
'cause we
mean,
can
everything on here has a purpose, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's on-
That was added this year, so like it's a little new to us,
Yeah, I
like
get
talking with Debbie and,
Yeah.
but if we know of a revenue amount that we can put in there safely, well, yeah, we'll put it in.
I mean, just moving down the line, and this is the same thing from the planning board, the revenue. I mean, have you guys looked at the revenue from the planning board in terms of the fees? Because that seems really light, that'd be equivalent of 2 applications.
Let me check what they sent me, maybe I put something in there that wasn't. Yeah, I don't have an estimate showing what they're anticipating bringing in or expenditures. I don't know if it didn't make it to me or am I overlooking in here? Communication, rec, town board, building department, court, clerk, judge, highway. Yeah, so I don't know what our total collected for this year is, but I didn't get, some departments didn't give me, their annual estimate, so I had to go with.
I mean, this looks like actually would be equivalent to application fees, so, that's probably more than likely to happen, every year, if not a lot more.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, considering what's going on in today's world, I'm sure housing will probably change here soon. I'll make a note to check with Deb and see what our current revenue is on that.
I would imagine there's at least half a dozen, permit fees.
For this year?
Application fees, yes.
I will check, because we'll take that, and I'll do the same if we can put money in there for Parkland, that doesn't, if we can do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You see, we need whatever we can get to. But, so you're on the planning board?
I am, yeah.
Who's the chairman?
Dixon.
Yeah, next time, maybe they'll get that information over to us, so I can put it in.
I understand.
I do what I can,
I know.
Alright.
Any other questions on page 5? Yes, Rebecca?
I have a quick question. It sounded like we were sort of expecting that we might get more activity in the court this coming year. Does it make sense to look at increasing the justice amount that's listed? I mean, I don't know if we have the actual numbers.
So, the way that goes is, it's you never know what you're gonna get. The judge is having a good year, they're writing a lot of tickets. Next year, if they don't write a lot of tickets, the judge doesn't do so well. So what we do is we kind of have an average number we go. He is over this year, which is good, because we're gonna use that money to help reduce taxes. But so we're anticipating, I think, $140,000. If he has a crap year, right, and we bring in 120, we gotta find another 20 from somewhere else to offset it. So that's what we typically do, we kind of just carry the average of what he's been getting. And if we look at him about halfway through the year, if we have to give him a little boot, we let him know.
Be meaner.
But trust me, we've pushed him,
Yeah.
right, Judge? How many times we say, hey, can you get a little bit more? No, just leave it where it is, right? How many years? And we still raise it on him. I didn't raise it this year.
I see that.
He yelled at me the last
I
time we
don't
did.
mind.
Rebecca, to give you a little history, a couple years ago, that account was at 80,000, and we've actually pushed it a good amount over the past few years. So in the past, I think 3 or 4 went from 80 to 139, and that's part of the reason why we don't want to push it this much, because it does affect, and we've really pushed the envelope just about as far as we can on that budget item.
Okay.
So,
Sounds good.
now Paul, you look like you have another question for me.
Yeah, this is just kind of a wrapping up, conversation. I mean, the budget represents, expenses, and the other element to that is revenue. And revenue is derived from the rate time, assessment, total assessment. So if you look at 2025 on this budget, total assessed valuation, and then 2026, what you're seeing is only $379,589 of raised assessment in 1 year. Assessment is the pieces of the pie that people pay in this town. And when there's not proper assessment done, everyone has to pay a much bigger slice of the pie. So you look at, building permits in 2025, you're allocating or assuming you're gonna have revenue of about $9,000, right? To build a house in this town, your building permit is gonna be about $1,000, right? A new house in this town is getting assessed around, a larger modest-sized house is getting assessed around 300,000. So if you're looking at the assessment change from 2025 to 2026 and the permits you're doing, I mean, those numbers just don't add up to what the actual assessments show. And it goes even further, like, I mean, I spent the time going through the entire tax roll and looking at properties in this town. And, I mean, there was like 40 properties in this town that just screamed off the page in terms of showing about $7 million in missing assessment, which would equal about 100 grand revenue. And that's a direct burden to the taxpayers. Assessment should have been done a while ago. And general assessments when things happen, such as building permits, or when a home is sold, those things need to be looked at on a continual basis, or people are gonna see continuation of tax increases. I mean, this is, 12% or whatever you lower it down to.
Yeah.
We saw a 20% school tax increase. Last year, it was what, 13% at the town? I mean, people have.
Well, last year we got hit with three big things that, with our town being so small, our budget's only 1.3, right? So we get hit with a trash increase that we haven't had, something with medical insurance, and then we had to come up with $100,000 for the ambulance. That's a big nut, and I understand what you're saying about assessment. There was a freeze at one point. I am the last person to use COVID as an excuse, because it's ridiculous. But the state had a freeze on doing assessments for a few years there. Yes, this assessment should have been done this year. It wasn't. Did I not bring that up when we met? I said this has to happen. An assessment's gonna lower our taxes big time.
That is one of my first things we're gonna work on, is the assessment with the new. It's gonna take like 6 months to start, because he has to work with Mary and see about town, but that is the first thing I wanna work on.
I mean, that alone is gonna help everyone's tax burden. I mean, you might have enough revenue that you could show a zero increase.
100%. I mean, when I put that number in there, I looked at it twice, 3 times.
I mean,
it's only 89 million. It was 88 last year. That's not good.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%. And I ran a couple numbers. Even if we were at like 93, 94 million, right? That 6 million, 6 million would have made a nice difference.
7 million in assessed value is 100 grand.
Yeah.
And I mean, the school tax increase of 20% is directly related to us not having proper assessments. They targeted the town of Kingston because they realized that we aren't increasing our assessments on properties that deserve to have increases. Unlike other municipalities in the Kingston City School District. I mean, Hurley saw a decrease in their tax rate.
So they just threw a dart at the town of Kingston, you're saying?
No, they did it based on the fact that we haven't had a townwide reassessment since 2005. And if you look at individual assessments, they're way off.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a 15,000 square foot building built in this town, and the tax assessment increase on it was $126,000. I mean, that's a Sweet Meadows home assessment, and we're talking about 15,000 square feet of floor space. I mean, people are paying.
That was done in the Sweet Meadows?
No, right across the street.
Oh, it's equal to it. I thought right across the street. Okay. I'm not sure where. I wasn't sure.
So I mean, like people are feeling this in their tax bills. Like I was knocking on doors. People are having a hard time getting these tax increases. Like small incremental change, you can handle that. If we have a cost we have to pay for, this community can bond together and say, okay, we got to pay a little more. But to have unequal portioning of the pie, that's not right.
Yeah.
So I would get that done, Dave.
Yeah, the gentleman coming in as assessor, that is his first priority. And the reason we didn't increase that line in the budget was because he knows of ways to do it in-house to save money, and he said that the money we had in there now should cover the majority of what he needs to do.
It's also a cycle too, so I mean, it can't just happen.
Correct, and we will go back and put money into that account, so we're not behind the 8 ball again like we were, because we had nothing when we first started thinking about assessment 5-6 years ago, we had no budget line for it. So yes, no, it'll go back, but that's why there was no increase this year, because like, okay, well, that's a spot, we don't need to put another $20,000, $30,000.
Well, there's individual assessments that can happen right away without having to spend $100,000.
No, he's aware of that as
said
well.
that.
And that's one thing we're gonna do, is hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We're trying to fix the problem,
I hope
and
that's
it's
what
been way too
Yeah.
long.
We had a problem with staffing.
I mean, when fair is fair, no one's gonna complain about it.
Yep.
And if people can pay for a little tax increase compared to the revenue that they're bringing in, that's fair.
I have a quick question. You said the gentleman, does that mean we got rid of the
Yes.
assessor we had?
We didn't get rid of her, her term ended. Her term
So
ended
she's
at the
not
end of
being
September.
renewed?
Correct, she was not being
Oh,
renewed.
okay. Very good.
So we did not fire her, let her go, her term ended. So we do have a replacement,
And that'll be done in the town meeting today.
correct, officially.
Okay.
Any other question on this page? Moving to the final page, page 6. Any questions on page 6?
I mean, that's basically what we just talked about.
Kathy, I know you guys came in a little late. Do you need a few minutes to look at the budget before we move forward?
Oh, I could never catch up. I didn't I thought it started at 7.
6:30 was a public hearing, that was what it posted,
Oh,
so,
this is
6,
the
7?
public hearing.
yeah, public hearing, so we're in public hearing now, so.
All
If you
right.
need a few minutes, or at the end of the meeting, if you have questions, we'll gladly answer it for you. Does that sound fair to you?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What would be something that would go under erroneous taxes on this page?
You know, that's a very good question.
Okay.
No one knows the answer, I don't believe. That was put in there years ago.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take it out if I'm budget officer next year, because I have no idea what it is. Do you, Linda? I don't, maybe, Dennis put it in a long time ago, and we don't know.
Ryan, I believe a few years ago, we had a case of someone who was taxed improperly and this thing had to be changed around, had to be balanced out. I think that's what that was there for.
Just about.
That was I was on the board. That was, well, I don't wanna
Yeah, you
call it
Yes,
out. Yeah,
yes, you're correct.
yes. It's another one that needs to be assessed.
Yep.
And the last page is the Saco fire budget, does everyone have that too?
Yes.
Okay. If everyone wants to take a look at it, if anyone has any questions, please let us know. I think the judge is still.
I redid it this year, taking out all the formulas from last year.
It looks a lot cleaner.
Thank you. There was a lot of duplicates, and if you didn't put it in every one, it was just very confusing.
Yeah, no, this is much better.
What is LoSAP?
So it's a retirement program that the volunteers get. They gotta make certain amount of points a year, and then when they hit 65, they get a retirement. It's not a lot, but it's something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I think it'd be funny if there was a revenue line for pancake breakfast.
See, that's two different things though. That's the company, and then you got the
Oh,
district.
the district, got it.
Yeah, so it's two. We can add that if you want.
I just thought it was.
It's firehouse, firehouse rent.
So, the district does not own the firehouse. The building is owned by the members, and so we keep the upkeep, we do everything, they pay us rent. For the district to take that building over, they would have to take over everything, the upkeep, so they pay us rent.
They pay you rent.
Yeah, the company,
Oh, I thought-
not me,
Well,
the company. If that was my building, I'd give it to them for free, but
say anything about vehicles on here. I seem to see fire cars and
So,
what's going on with that?
RJ's truck, the one that sits out there, is being sold. It's having a lot of issues, so we switched cars around.
And what's K1?
So K1's our truck account, like when we get a new truck, we put money in there every year to, purchase the truck, like there's one on order, that's almost $1 million, 1.9 something, it's almost $1 million for a basic engine to replace a engine we have that is having issues. So we put money in there every year, and then the K2 account, which is for equipment like turnout gear and Scott packs and stuff like that.
And these are annual contributions.
Yeah, every year, and then at the end of the year, we take the money, what's left over, and we put it in the truck account so we can save the money towards the truck.
Is there any other questions on the fire budget? Hearing none, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Public hearing is closed. And we need to get for a minute before we start town meeting? And we need a minute before we start the town meeting. Okay.
If anyone has any questions about the budget, you can easily reach me through these guys or whatever. I don't mind. I'm learning as we go, certain things, so.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I did have a quick question, which is, does this get
Oh, the
posted
budget's over
online?
with, man. What's that?
Does this get posted online?
Yeah, I think.
Once it's adopted.
Once it's
it'll be
adopted,
posted on
we're
the
gonna-
website.
The board will be adopting it, at the
Workshop meeting.
workshop meeting in
19th.
week and a half, 2 weeks. Right,
19.
19?
Everyone good? All right, it's 7:19. I'd like to call this meeting in order with a pledge to the flag. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
May the light of God shine down upon all of our deported members of the town, and may the good Lord grant them all eternal peace. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you. Just so everyone knows, there's a fire emergency, there's exit in the front and the back of the building if anything happens. Town clerk, roll call please.
Councilman Hoffman,
Here,
Councilman Nelson,
Present.
Councilman Capo,
Here,
Councilman Wells,
Here.
and Supervisor Landy's excused.
Okay. Looking for a motion to accept the minutes as reviewed at the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Supervisor's report. All right. So we got a message today from Congressman Ryan's office. On Tuesday, December 2nd, there's going to be a CARES van out in the parking lot from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they can work on anything from you for, it looks like, did you say Social Security and everything, Linda?
Yep, federal resources,
There we go.
VA, Social Security, IRS, other federal agencies.
So this van carries around all over the county and in his district, and they have to come here in the New York 18 district. So December 2nd, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If anyone has interest in coming here for that. one of us will also put that on Facebook too, and on the town calendar too, okay? Alright. Sorry, that give me 1 second here. Everything all over, all a mess. Alright. To the Town Board of the Town of Kingston, pursuant of section 119 of Town Law, I hereby have the following detailed statement of all monies received and distributed by Supervisor Landy for October 2025. Total general funds, $181,962.42. Total highway funds, $123,239.93. Trusted agencies, $78,908.57. Total all accounts, $384,054.92. Distributions, total general fund distributions, $78,166.78. Total highway fund distributions, $27,045.85. Trust and agency tax account distributions, $38,637.70. Total distributions on all accounts, $143,850.28. Total balance on hand for all accounts is $240,204.64. Investments, general fund investments in all categories. The total investments are $294,608.08. Highway savings is $97,082.35 for a total grand total of $391,690.43. So I have for the supervisor's report. Town clerk's report?
In October, we took in $50 in clerk's fees and $12 in dog license fees for a total of $62.
All right. Audit of general bills, claim number 395 through 415. Need a motion to pay those bills?
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Audit of highway town bills, claim 416 through 426 for a total of $8,692.05.
Make a motion to pay those bills.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Committee reports, Councilman Wells.
The code enforcement officer, Bob Colagero, collected $1,105 in fees this past month, 1,005 of which were for building permits, 100 in abstracts. Building permits ranged anywhere from garage addition to some mini splits being put in, to the repair being worked on the house up here on the side of the road that got hit by the truck. Fairly quiet month, but nonetheless, there is still stuff going on. I have nothing pressing. I do want to throw out there that I know spring is on its way, and it is. I gotta think positive. You know, fall's over in my books. But I'm thinking about the possibility of throwing an Earth Day event in and around Earth Day in April here at the town. Some of the things that have crossed my mind, and by no means am I a one-man band, I would love ideas on this, et cetera, et cetera. Possible raptor demonstration. I've talked to the head of recycling at the UCRRA, and she's willing to come here and do demonstrations about composting and or recycling and have give outs, etc. I've talked about either giving away seedlings to town residents or the possibility of a pollinator packets, as they're called, to help attract hummingbirds and butterflies, etc. Those are just some of the ideas I've come up with so far, and it's honestly been about a 2-day process in my head so far. So if anybody's interested in any ideas or have any ideas along those way, I will welcome any and all ideas. And, I'd hope to come up with a date definitely by the first of the year, that way we can secure it and have some more concrete details, but I just want to throw that out there. That's all I have.
Councilman,
I have nothing, Vince.
The only thing I have is we need to reappoint Lynette Beatty to the Board of Ethics. We overlooked reappointing her this year, as it turns out, so we need to do that. I make a motion that we reappoint. I've spoken to her, she's willing to continue serving on the board, so I would like to make a motion to that effect, that we reappoint Lynette Beatty to the Board of Ethics.
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Motion carries. Thank you. Anything else, sir? All right, the only thing I have, I want to say yesterday was election day. It was a great turnout yesterday. I want to thank the candidates that did not win. The candidates did win. You guys all did a great job. It was an amazing turnout. Whether the outcome is right or wrong in your opinions, I hope you move forward as a team. And thank you all for coming in. And that's it for me. Any old business?
I don't know if mine is old or new, but there was an article in the Freeman just within the last week or so about the Xena Development LLC. And there was a lot of information there about the towns and who's gonna take priority for being in charge. We were not mentioned, and I know that none of our property per se is included in this, but as 2 or 3 families showed up a year ago because the borders their property. So I'd like to know who on our town board is going to keep a good eye on this and keep us informed.
I've been following pretty good, and that's Woodstock's planning meeting, right?
Yeah.
Which is next week.
Next week.
Yep, next week. One of us should be there, hopefully, to go to that meeting, so.
So going forward, because they're really starting to push again, will you be the representative from our town that will keep?
One of us will try to make the meetings and get as much information as we can for our schedule, but yes, someone will try to be informed on those meetings, yes.
Because even though our land's not affected, certainly the properties are, and any
And it affects us all,
blasting or
Phil Creek,
drilling.
Well,
goes to our
the
neighborhood,
Sawkill
yep.
Creek alone, because there's a runoff and the ground they're disturbing could become a, issue, so I've been watching it.
Okay.
Sam, you have a question back there?
Yeah, if that were to pass, would that also increase the flow of traffic coming through the town?
Astronomically, you have to limit it, yeah.
So
Big difference in that.
What can we do to help with that? Because the traffic's already pretty horrendous. We either have 20-mile-per-hour drivers or we have 80-mile-per-hour drivers.
And we've been fighting that for years. It's a county road, and you're absolutely right. We've actually talked about reducing the speed limit on that road and everything, and every time we go for it, the county pushes no.
We did get it reduced a number of years ago. That speed limit was, I think it was 55 at one time. And now it's down to 45, so.
It should be 35. Should be 25, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter because people don't pay attention. I don't know if you guys drive on the road now, no one pays attention to anything anymore.
Try living on it, try living on the road.
I feel for you, Larry.
Yeah, where that straight path is on Sawkill.
It's insane. I get passed all the time because I do 37, 35, you know, I mean, I'm not in a rush to get in town or leave town, so, you know, I'm one of those older drivers, so.
I had them behind me. Yeah, I had them behind me, passing me when I want to make my left onto Melissa. That's real scary.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just had a question about, if you guys, maybe ask the postal department if they can move the boxes, at least on that stretch of Sweet Meadows to the house side.
I did. I actually spoke with the postmaster in the city of Kingston. They had two things with it. One, some of the mailboxes that are if we're headed towards Woodstock on the creek side, are actually still on the people's property, because there are property parcels that go across the road. Not many, most end at the road or, you know, partially in the road, but there are actually some that go across the road. when I talked to, and I'll be honest, I only talked to a handful of people out there, no one was really in a big hurry to do it. I know Mr. Moore brought it up to my attention, and I thought it was a good idea, and that's why I looked into it more, because it's dangerous to get across there and get your mail. They would do it. They did say it would definitely delay mail throughout the town because of having to reroute the truck, and I'm like, you just pull into the development and go the other way, you know. I'm trying to think the easy way. Obviously, they're not thinking the easy way.
Well, I mean, I would look at with, I mean, the county's really pushing for, traffic safety, right now, and I would use that to your advantage and tell the post office, like, people's lives matter.
Well, I actually have a meeting, with Congressman Ryan's office, and that was one of the topics I wanted to discuss about that because of his concerns with infrastructure and safety, et cetera, as well as, you know, more with what's going on the bridge over here, et cetera, so.
I mean, it also frees up too, that if that strip, with no mailboxes is there, you know, if there was any type of flood mitigation measures, or you don't have to work around.
Opens it up, sure. I agree.
We tried talking to them when I was on the board, we tried getting them to put like a, you know, concrete barrier going down or something like that.
It's a little bit painful.
They're not, if they're saying they're about safety, they're full of it because there's a tree that people constantly hit.
Yeah.
That we've asked so many times. I've sat in my living room and heard the bang from cars bouncing off this tree and going in the creek, and it's still there. What does it take to take a tree down? So they could be useless at times, but I with the post office, I don't know if anyone's from, I know some people are, where Ron Chrissy is. He talked to the post office, or the mail, the mailman?
Postmaster?
Yeah, postmaster. It's been a long day. And he goes, yeah, just move it over. So we moved his thing right across the street. They'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Because I would watch, I don't know, actually I think one of them was Rose. Watching these people walk across the street to get a bill. You know, they're gonna get hit getting a bill, and it's like, it's ridiculous. It really shouldn't even be a discussion.
It should be easy.
I think we just moved the mailboxes over and asked for forgiveness.
I mean, the post
I'll help
office,
you.
the post office does have a little PDF, one sheet of some basic specs.
Yeah,
like height
heights
of
and
mailbox,
off the-
like
yeah.
slight setback. But, yeah, I agree, I mean.
I think we should just do it.
Sometimes you just have to push them.
Community service project coming up.
Yep, I gotta work. No, but for real, I mean, I can't even
I think
believe.
you'll win the PR, the PR on that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda, for the next town, newsletter, can we put that in the newsletter about possibly moving the mailboxes for the residents? Because I believe the residents have to fill out a form, if I'm correct. The resident itself has to move the form to the other side of the road, and then maybe we could see about making that happen for some residents, so. Maybe we'll get some information from the residents that live on there, and maybe even target some of them, even some door to door might not be a bad idea.
I think if we move like a quarter of them,
Yeah.
then everybody else will be like, wait, why can't we have ours there? Like,
So, anytime, and I'm gonna say something, and I hope you guys don't get mad at me, when you deal with the public, sometimes it's not easy.
yeah.
So,
Well, one of the pushbacks I received from a resident, and I'll leave the resident's name out, was, well, that means I'd have to turn around it. They don't have to on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
That was her response, you know, like, okay, so have fun with traffic.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. I was like, okay, thanks. You know,
Traffic is bad.
I'll
No, I
go
agree.
them around the mailbox.
Yeah, exactly, you know, that's what it came down to, but that was her pushback. Well, I have to turn around it.
I mean, it goes both ways too, it's also the cars, I mean, their safety as well.
Yep, I agree.
Absolutely. I mean, if you can get it done to where there's like 10, 15 people that need their mailbox moved, we could probably work with the Boy Cub Scouts and this, you know, people
We
like
haven't
that.
done in a day.
I would personally help for that, you know, because that's crazy, you know, these people are gonna.
so we'll start with the newsletter and we'll go from there, alright? Alright, moving on to new business, I need a motion to approve, Donald Baker as the new assessor going forward, and this is for a 6-year term? 6-year term.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just a question, what's his experience?
Yeah, thank
Oh,
He's currently,
Easy.
he currently works for the city of Kingston. He currently works for the town of Ulster. This will be the 3rd place he's assessor at. He's gonna have such hours once we get going, and he's going to work with Mary Secreto, which has very solid hours right now. So going forward, Mary Secreto will be like the contact person for right now, until he justifies for the next couple of months, and then that's how we're gonna start the reassessment. Mary Secreto, which is assistant,
Yeah,
secretary assistant, yep. So she's been in the office now, working on getting some stuff ready for him coming in, and that's the experience. So he's been an assessor for several years, and
He has a very high reputation,
Yeah.
very well thought of.
he has some great ideas to kind of move forward to get this town back on track, like John Paul was mentioning earlier, to fix some of the problems. So we went after someone that could do some of this stuff.
So who's Mary? She's someone that works?
Mary Secreto works here. She's been here for a while. Under the previous assessor, she worked here like 3 hours a month. And now her hours are posted on the door.
She's in here most weeks, 1 day a week, 2 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Usually Deb, as soon as she has hours listed, they're posted on the front door.
So she'll be working here 2 hours a week,
She has been, yes, for the last, I don't know, 6 months.
and
consistently.
he and she will work together?
Yes. And we're trying to solve this problem with the assessor going forward. We've been listening to this for a couple of years now, and we're finally getting to a solution, so. Yes, sir.
Do you have his contact info? Cause I'm trying to get an address.
I do not in front of me.
I believe I have it at home, John Paul, I can email it to you.
Okay.
I know where the card is, I just gotta go get it, and I don't have it with me. But he's worked with Mary for years, so they're already comfortable working together, and that was one of the big pushing points. I'll be honest, I was one of the naysayers when we interviewed him, because I was concerned about how he was going to handle our little town, knowing he's already in 2 other towns. I don't wanna say he sold me on it, but he definitely made me feel good about bringing him on. So I think he's gonna do well for us.
So his information, since he'll be a new employee, would be great to have at least in the newsletter coming out, that we have a new assessor, how to
Yeah,
get
we'll
a
get
hold of him.
Yep.
With his contact info and all that, sure.
Okay. I know we do this a little wrong in this town, but, because we do a very back and forth. Are there any other questions and comments for today? Yes, Hunter?
I've got a dumb one and a real one. The dumb one is, why do we read a spreadsheet out at the beginning of every meeting?
So I didn't read all the numbers today. I went really brief. That's a Supervisor Landy thing.
Okay.
I follow his guidance because I'm his deputy and he tells me what he wants. So under his deputy guidelines, I do follow. I'll be honest, I'm a leader in my own right, but I'm a chain of command guy, so I do follow what he asked me to do. When Supervisor Hoffman steps up January 1st, he gets to change things to do it his way. I don't like it either, so I can't answer. I answered the best I could for today.
We're gonna change that. I wanna give each councilman a copy of that. I wanna post a copy over there, because reading it, 95% of the people goes right over their head, so I would like to hang it over there with all the information. You guys can look it over, and then if there's a mistake, the councilman hopefully will catch it, and I know John Paul will catch it. But that's my plan right now, to do that.
Rather than just on the board, it's gotta be on the website, because there's a lot of people in here starting the meeting to try and look at a board.
I will work with Vinnie on that.
Oh, not necessarily, don't go to the computer.
It can be on the board too, but.
Yeah, well,
No,
absolutely.
Both is easy.
Yeah. Hunter, you got a second one?
So the actual thing, I'm glad to hear it, that sounds good. Too many numbers at my head, makes it hurt. The other issue about the reassessment, this is sort of more of a philosophy thing, but I absolutely think that the getting reassessed and getting into the system where it's just a habit and we do it every year and everything, that will make things better. I think the reality is that even though there are properties that are under assessed, and that does, prop up, create opportunities for revenue. I think there's also a lot of people who have lived in the town for a long time who are probably under assessed, and I'm wondering what we're thinking about, like, the increased burden that places on people whose assessment relative to everybody else goes up. Like, I would expect that overall my taxes personally would go down as a result of reassessment, and that means that somebody else's taxes are going up. And
I can answer that. Well, the reassessment doesn't affect don't get me wrong, it does affect your taxes, but the tax levy is always determined in the budget.
Indeed.
So round numbers, your house is assessed for $100,000 and you pay $1,000 a month. If your house is now assessed at $200,000, you're not going to be paying $2,000 because the budget didn't go up. Whenever the budget goes up, obviously the next year you'll increase, percentage wise.
Right.
But you're not going to suddenly, your taxes won't suddenly get doubled because of the assessed value of your house.
I don't know if that's totally true, but.
No.
I mean, it's a percentage, right? So it's like a ratio.
Yeah.
So if everyone had everyone's tax assessment doubled, we paid the exact same amount for whatever the budget.
Correct, in a perfect world, right. That's what I'm just trying to relax the fears that if your house goes from 100,000 to 200,000, you're not gonna pay double
But
tax.
if everyone's doesn't do 50%, one person does 100% increase and one's 10%, that's gonna create a changing of the slice of the pie. You're gonna pay more for good.
In particular, like I would guess that my house, my assessment having moved in like 4 years ago is probably relatively accurate. You know, the real estate is crazy. Whereas I think a lot of people who have lived in the town for a long time probably have a very old assessment that is not very realistic, and they are probably going to see their assessment go up more than I'm going to see mine, which means that they would have more of a tax burden placed on them than I would.
Hunter, you're correct about that, but we've been holding on for as long as we can to not do this.
And no, I don't think
It's
that's
just-
the correct answer. I mean, I was in particular looking at like the homestead exemptions or other things that could be done to counteract that.
But it's definitely something we've talked about for a long time. I was very voicious about not doing it in 2020. 21 I didn't want to do it. I know there's a hold. 22 I didn't want to do it. But so there's only so long we can hold off. It's just one of those things. It's time to be done. And when you tax things, there's always consequences, and it's going to be very good for others and not good for for the whole of the town. It's the right option. And sometimes when you're sitting in these chairs, with the whole of the town is more important than the individual. And I know that sounds slightly mean, but we do have to move forward. And it's one of those things that some people will definitely hate the town and never ever vote for a certain way again, but it's one of those things that's a necessary evil at this time to be done.
To be clear, I 100% agree that we should do the reassessment. I'm not objecting to that at all. I'm wondering, within the framework of moving to proper assessment for the town, is there any plan to try to counteract that force, which I think will be?
I don't know that answer today. Hopefully by the time we do, because it's not going to be an instantaneous thing. As we work on it over the months, I'm sure we can come up with different solutions. But as of today, I don't have a plan, and I don't think any of us do.
I'm sure the new assessor has some ideas on it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, sir.
I mean, I think the counteraction is get your budget as low as it can be, and whether that's a grant that pays for a major infrastructure thing or anything that helps in the budget to bring it down.
Yeah.
Because that's the other part of the equation.
Part of
And
the
that's one
problem
of the
we
goals
have,
too, is to bring that down.
100%. Part of the problem we run into, it's just, I guess it's not a problem, but we're just such a small town. There's like only so much that we can hide or do whatever. A big project might be paving a road that's $40,000, which we do already get the chips for that, or
But I think where you're gonna see in the reassessment is that there's gonna be a lot of assessed value that was never there, and that's gonna create a really
100. I think there's people that are flying really low right now.
extremely low. I found $7 million missing assessment, and that's 40 properties.
It's disturbing what's out there. So I think it's going to be overall. I think it's going to help us considerably.
Totally.
But I mean, my value is low. I can't believe it's as low as it is, and it hasn't moved since I bought 2008. So I assume it's going to probably go up. But
Any other questions or comments? So I have one, not as, I know no matter what, I am always here as a councilman. So I find that with the current problems with SNAP and food sourcing, I'm concerned for local families that need. The food banks have reached out to me to see if I had any frozen meats. We all know what I do for a living, so I don't sugarcoat that at all. So what I did is I started a campaign today for food banks for Ulster County. My goal is to raise $1,000 in donations from everybody I know. I don't care if it's $1, $2, $10, and then I'm going to match $1,000. Then I'm going to, so that's $2,000 is my goal. I'm going to go then to discuss with my purveyors, like at Cisco or Ginsburg, and I'm going to buy frozen meats for the food banks. If anyone would like to donate any money to this, I have QR codes here, if anyone would like to look at that, or if you'd like to give me cash, you're more than welcome to. Yes, Hunter?
Can I sign up to match that?
Huh?
Can I sign up to match your match?
Yeah, whatever, and we'll talk about that. I just want to get it out there. Honestly, you know something, I am outside of this town. I feel we need to give back to this community. Ulster County is a great place to live, and there are families that are hurting, and it's time to really give back as much as we can. So I'm choosing to do this on a broader level, and I know I'm one of you guys right now, so I want to be very clear. I'm just trying to raise as much as I can and give back as much as I can. And then I'll go with my prayers, and I'll get the frozen meats that the food banks block. I'm going to work very strongly with People's Place and Family of Woodstock. Family of Woodstock has a very big reach throughout Ulster County. Don't think it's just Woodstock. And People's Place does a lot of good service. I was at People's Place today and donated quite a bit of food, and they do a lot of good there too. So anything we can do to help residents of Ulster County, I feel is important. So if anyone would like to talk to me after the meeting, I'm all ears. So.
If we got people that actually just wanted to donate food itself, would you take
People's
that?
Place accepts different food items on different times. Family of Woodstock does as well. I have a whole list of food pantries on my personal page, and I'll try to share that to the town page, and I'll get something printed out as well. So I'll have that down here on the table within a few days, okay? Yes, miss?
I think the auxiliary takes food.
They do.
As well as the children's gifts. Ladies auxiliary.
So, any other questions or comments? Okay,
Just
next
thank
meeting.
you for doing that, that's stand up, appreciate you doing that.
You know, I love this community. At the end of the day, that's what I care about.
We need
So-
more of it.
Next meetings is Sauk Hill Seniors Meeting, November 10th at 1 p.m. Planning Board Meeting, Monday, November 17th at 7 p.m. Town Board Workshop, Wednesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. And Town Board Meeting, Tuesday, December 2nd at 7 p.m. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.